My name is Louise Mingenbach, and I am the costume designer of this X-Men as well as the last. And I've worked with Bryan Singer on all his films, and so we're still together, which is great. Basically, when we started this film, he asked me to make it look the same, because a lot of them are repeat characters, but different. You know, he wanted it all to kind of become more special. So we have some repeat characters. I mean, there's Rogue, who, of course, Anna Paquin. And in the first, she was this runaway and a very bundled up and lost little soul. Now she's evolved and, you know, this beauty. So instead of the green coat, which is her signature piece in X-Men 1, we gave her a really super groovy, sexy little thing in X2. And, you know, unfortunately, she's not going to be able to be in it for too much of the film, but she'll look smashing when she's in it. What was really fun about this is we were working all these X's, you know? I don't know if anyone's going to notice them, but us, but we think it's fun. So here's her X across her chest. We also have Storm, of course, Halle Berry's back, as well as Famke Janssen, Jean Grey. And in the first, we did all sorts of ethnic pieces on Halle, and in this we're continuing to do that, but we were mixing it up a lot. So she's got this beautiful bag that is you know, a 19th century American Indian piece, and she's wearing it with a Chinese belt and sort of a hodgepodgey kind of ethnic-y beautiful little jacket. She pulls that all off very well. Jean Grey, who is Phoenix in the comic book. We had the prep this time to get to make her this amazing jewelry. So we made, as an homage to the comic book, pieces of jewelry that are Phoenix rising, and we made this coat for her that unfortunately isn't hanging here because we're still working on it, with a huge embroidered phoenix rising up the back, and hopefully we'll get a shot of that in the film. You never know, but it's hard. Sometimes they don't really focus on the back, but it would be great if we could see it. And I know that all the X-Men fans would say, we know that's Jean Grey, Phoenix Rising. So we made her some beautiful jewelry as well, which we designed. And there's the Phoenix, you know, coming out of the flames, and she wears that with all her costume changes. It's very pretty. And we made her a fun X-Men, you know, a Tiffany, but it's not, better X-Men, you know, bracelet. And then at the forest clearing, this isn't so subtle, but I think it's really great. We made all the girls these, a scene in the forest clearing, these sterling silver belt buckles, which are fabulous. I think they're very chic. One of our new characters is Nightcrawler, played by Alan Cummings, and we're working on his stuff. It's a lot of prosthetics and a lot of pants that need to fit over tails, and it's a little bit more complicated than just dressing beautiful women. It's limiting, you know, working around prosthetics, because you have to hide certain lines and you have to get around certain weird shapes that nobody can see, or the vision is gone, you know. You have to hide it all and make them believe. I just thought it would be fun if we tried to splatter some paint on the leather, just instead of having a black coat, which we've seen a black leather coat. Obviously, it's a lot on film, and so I thought, well, maybe if we just splatter, if we could have, you know, a painter splatter some crazy shiny paint on it, maybe it'd be special. And then we screen tested it, and it was. I mean, I think it looks amazing on film, and Bryan seems very pleased. So I think it's going to make it into the film. Our other new big character is Lady Deathstrike. Kelly Hu is playing her. She has worn this coat. This is sort of based on, it's sort of a corseted thing. It's sort of a little glimpse into who she becomes back at Stryker's lair, which is something much crazier and much more extreme. But here in this scene, when she wears this, she's at the White House. And I pushed it as far as I think you can push a jacket that somebody would wear to the White House. I mean, it's practically corseted, but I think maybe, you know, if you're a really sexy girl, maybe you would wear this. I don't think it's too far, but it's extreme. What Bryan's request was to make everything same but different. We redesigned Magneto's helmet, gave him a few more details. So that's happening. This wasn't quite what the first one was. Same but different. And his costume is back. Again, similar to this, but hopefully for his own comfort it'll be easier to get on and off. That was a huge, I think, inconvenience for him the first time around. There were many straps holding all that thing on, and it took him a half an hour or more to just get in and out of his cape. So I think he'll be happier this time. We were able to fix that. Cyclops, same but different. He streamlined glasses, you know, things that I think everyone felt they were too big and too cumbersome in the first one, so they've been reworked and they're beautiful. And of course his character is he's sort of this stodgy Scot, you know, so again he's stodgy Scot in this one. Of course there's Wolverine, and that's same but different as well. We redesigned his cool leather jacket, giving it a little bit more detail, a little bit more, you know, flair. And, you know, I mean, dressing Hugh is a lucky thing for a girl, right? He's great looking and lovely. So, but you know, in classic Wolverine style, he doesn't change. He is who he is, and that's he is not a fashion plate. Xavier is, Xavier is fancy pants, and he's got beautiful suits we had made for him, tailor-made, all custom. Of course, this is an interesting little thing about him, because he sits down through the whole film. We had to cut his suits to accommodate, you know, to cut them lower. We had to cut the pants down, we had to cut the vest up. So he looks less rumpled when he's seated through the whole film. But when he stands up to go to the craft service table, he's got these pants that are cut down here. And his poor little vest looks like it's lost, you know, it's the illusion is. But he looks great seated. So those are the, you know, unfortunately, you know, he said to me on the first one, he said, Louise, I'd love to take some of these suits home, but I mean, I don't, you know, they're not going to work in my real life. Unfortunately, they won't, because they are very beautiful. The Iceman is back, Bobby, Drake, and now there's Pyro, and Jubilee has been kind of fleshed out in this number 2. And they're fun to dress, but unfortunately for me, so this movie takes place in so few days, 2 or 3 days, and the attack on the X-Mansion happens at night, and they get stuck in their damn pajamas, you know, most of the film. So that it could have been more fun if they, you know, had been attacked at dinner time. Everything, I should say, for the principals has been manufactured. You know, we have everything you see here, plus all the jewelry has been made specifically for the film, down to jeans and pants and shoes, in fact, for the leads and for Magneto and things like that. The kids, on the other hand, are more ready to wear off the rack. I think it's a big mistake to make it look too dated, and it will look dated in 5 years, this film, if you deal strictly with the fashions of the times. So I try and do a little bit of everything, you know, and mix it up so that there's no time period. I mean, certainly there's references, historical references, but not fashion references, hopefully, that are too of the moment, because that's always a mistake for a movie like this. Then it doesn't say anything, and it doesn't stick X-Men 2 and you know, pigeonhole it.